So you have me here for the Con-Versation. Greg is downtown currently getting ready for an anime convention, and he couldn't be back in time. So I have the lovely pleasure of interviewing, I knew I was going to get this wrong, Nzondi, who is a Bram Stoker Award winner, which, oh my gosh, I'm totally going to fangirl. I'm so excited to meet you. So welcome to the Con-Versation. I'm glad I got to be here. So tell us a little bit about what you write.
I love writing the type of stuff that, you know, I was enamored with growing up, you know, speculative fiction, like the Twilight Zone type stuff, science fiction, like Star Trek and Star Wars, and horror. I just love horror. So it's a little witch's cauldron of all three elements.
Oh, I love it. So what is your favorite horror movie?
Woo! I mean, I'm gonna say Night of the Living Dead. I know that's kind of like, yeah, that's my go-to. But maybe more recently, I can't remember the name of it. It's A Quiet Place. I thought it was phenomenal, and World War Z are like some of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your inspiration? Because you write horror books. One of your award-winning, a Bram Stoker award-winning book is a horror book. So tell us, what was the inspiration behind that book?
You know, I was born in '66, July 4th, just had a birthday. So I'm definitely going to show my age with this. But I grew up loving a medical procedural drama called Quincy M.E., Quincy Medical Examiner. And so basically my book, the Bram Stoker Award-winning book that's named Oware Mosaic, Oware is a play on an African game called Oware, is about a young girl who learns how to be a medical examiner through the metaverse. And she ends up solving a case through the metaverse.
Wow. So what, I mean, oh my gosh, there's so much to unpack there. There's so much to unpack there. So what was your writing journey like? Are you like a pantser, a plotter? You know, what kind of writer are you?
I feel like I'm really still learning. I really do. So, you know, like how Bruce Lee, you know, taught that you study a lot of different disciplines and then you bring your own self into it. I'm a bit of all of those things. You know, I go through stages where I'm a bit of everything. Or I go through stages where I'm a pantser, and then, you know, so I'm kind of like a lot of all of it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I asked this of all the authors that I talked to because everyone's answer is so different, and it's so fascinating to me. But what was the pivotal moment for you where you're like, you know what, I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to write a horror book, and this is what it's going to be like? You know, was it just something that, you know, you woke up one day and you're like, I'm going to just write it down and see where it goes? Or what was that journey like for you?
You know, my journey was, it's, you know, I've always been, I think the journey started when I was a little kid and I came outside one day and I saw blood going down the steps and down the sidewalk. And my imagination just blew. I must have been like 8, 9 years old. And I didn't know, my imagination thought maybe it was a, you know, monster trying to get into someone's house. Or maybe it was, you know, some crazy creeper, you know, a killer trying to get into someone's house and he was injured, you know, or some werewolf. And that's kind of where it started. And then, you know, just watching a ton of different kind of horror movies from Abbott and Costello Loves, Meets Frankenstein, to all types of horror movies with my family, my sister Carol, and my father. And then playing, believe it or not, in 1995, I got introduced to a game called Resident Evil. Resident Evil. And,
Yes.
and that game was the first time I was really scared. And while people were watching me play, I scared people. And I must have played that game so much till it became like, a part of me. And pretty much after I played the third game and I was able to like go through the whole game in 2 hours, I
Wow.
just had this whole story in me, and I wanted to kind of write my own story, So that's pretty much the journey, and
Wow.
yeah.
I love that. So I'm a huge Resident Evil fan.
Are
I
you?
love, yes, I am. I know. I love them. And I love the movies. I haven't seen the new there's like a new series on Netflix and I haven't.
Can we talk about it? Or would it
Yes,
be a
we
spoiler? Would
can.
it be a spoiler? Okay,
No,
okay,
go
okay,
for it.
okay,
I love spoilers. No, go for it. I'm one of those like spoilers don't bother me, but I
okay,
would love to hear like your opinion on it because I'm
okay.
debating if not to watch it.
So did you play the game Resident Evil? You played
I
it, right?
did. Yes.
A lot? You played it a lot?
Yeah, when I was younger, I mean, I used to
Okay.
play all the time.
Okay, so I played the game Resident Evil. I saw the movies. Now watch this. And then I read a couple of novels, Resident Evil novels. Now,
Mhm.
when I saw the movie, the first one. I was a little disappointed that they didn't have all the little puzzles in it,
Right.
right? So I'm like, hey, that's not how the game has these different little these crafty little puzzles. So I was a little disappointed in it. And it was really basically just like a sci-fi action movie. So it was okay. It was okay. Basically, I think there's 5 or 6 of them. Maybe one of the movies I really, really enjoyed as far as the plot, the dialogue, the action, tied close to the game, etc. I forget which one it was. It was like only one of them. Um, so then I read the book. And when I read the book, they had all the puzzles in it. And the way the book was written, and it was well written, it just seemed very silly. So the way they would translate from the video game to the book, I'm like, wow, all these different little things that keep popping up seems really silly in the book. It's hard to translate to literature. So now I understood why the movies were the way that they were. Then I saw the animated version. Did you see the animated version that came on Netflix?
I haven't. No, is that one? Is it worth
Oh,
watching?
it's
I
so
know.
good. It's so
Okay.
good.
Okay.
That is the best out of the whole, franchise to me. That
Yeah.
was the best. Plot, dialogue, action, good story. That was the best. Then the new one came out on maybe a few weeks ago, right? Came out a few weeks ago. So at first I was taken aback. Some of the characters are different. It's cool. We're in a world where they change the characters' race and stuff like that. That's cool. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Um, so some of the characters were different, and it focuses on one of the main antagonists' daughters. So it's a whole different story.
Mm,
And bottom line, the acting is really, really good. Better than any of the movies. Very
mhm.
good acting. So the girls were great actresses. Very good acting. The dialogue is cool. The story is really well put together and strong, right? The plot is strong. There was a few little holes here and there, but the plot is pretty much strong. Stronger than any of the movies, right? So altogether it's better. The only thing was I did not like the main character. Like you go through the whole thing not liking the main character because he always messes up. So you really don't like her, right?
Mm.
Until
Okay.
you find out that, some people didn't see this. I watched the reviews, they didn't get it. But once you realize that the main character is a symbolism for without being a spoiler, is a symbolism for what the whole theme of the Resident Evil is all about.
Mhm.
Her character is actually a symbol for the theme. When you realize that, you understand why she is the way she is, and you realize it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Okay. I'll have to
Yeah.
keep that in mind when I watch it because I've been bouncing back and forth because I love like Resident Evil, the Underworld movies. Like I love those movies,
Oh,
but it's like I don't know. I have my favorites and then the ones that weren't so good. I feel like that's just how things go. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to watch this series because it's like, well, I feel like they already like did the movie, so I really want to dabble. So I'll have to check it out and see what it's all about. I'm definitely gonna check out the animated one. I didn't even know that they had that, so
oh, you guys,
I
oh, so good. Can I mention you mentioned Underworld? I love Underworld.
Really? Okay. Oh my gosh. I love that. Like, it's not a popular one in my house, but I
I
love Underworld.
love it. I love it. Little tidbit, little tidbit. So I'm in New York right now. I'm in New York like during the spring and summer, and I'm in LA during the fall and the winter. So when I'm in LA, I work in Hollywood and a lot of productions. And when I first started working in productions, after I stopped being a teacher, I taught for 13 years and I was director of education. I just quit all of that and went into entertainment. I worked on a show called CSI New York just for a little while. Not even main, just like doing some stand-in work on CSI New York. And one of the people that worked there told me, one of the extras told me that Kevin Graveau used to sit there every day and work on this script. So Kevin Graveau is this really big African American guy, and I got to meet him because I'm in a part of this group called Comic Book Sunday, CBS, and we every Sunday we trade all these comic books and go and meet and drink beers and stuff. And I got to meet him and talk to him and stuff. He's cool. He wrote Underworld. So
Oh my
when he
gosh.
was at CSI New York, before I was there, I don't know what he was doing there, but when he was there, he was writing Underworld, and he went on to do the Underworld series. I love
Wow.
those kind of stories. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. It's definitely like one of those when it's on, I watch it. Like it's just I will stop anything I'm doing and watch those.
Yeah.
I love those movies. They're fascinating. I absolutely love them. But I want
Good.
to dive into you award winner, your Bram Stoker Award. What was that like when you found out that you had won? Like I would love to know, like, what was it like?
So it was a very it was a moment of highs and lows. It was a moment of highs and lows. So the lows part of it was the pandemic had just started.
Mhm.
So we had to do no one knew who won yet, but we weren't, it was now remote. It wasn't they canceled the live, production of it. So it was kind of remote. And so you had to do acceptance speeches, but you didn't really know if you won yet. So that's so weird if you don't know that you win and you acceptance speech. You're like, should I act happy or should I just. So the
Yeah.
first couple of takes, you're like, oh, thank you so much. And I'm like, I don't even know if I want. So it was kind of weird. And then, so that was the first part of it. The second part of it was my brother had just passed away from COVID, and my mom was in the hospital, and she had passed away a little after I won. So, that was the low part of it. But
Yeah.
when I watched the program and I won, and I never won anything. I mean, I used to call in on television, on radio shows, I've never won
Yeah.
anything. And I won that. I was so shocked and surprised. My girlfriend was like, I told you we're going to win. I'm like, you didn't really know. Like, how would you know? Just a faith in me. But the aha moment came 2 years later. By the way, this is. Can you see the award? This is the
Part of it. I
award.
can see part of
Here,
it. Yeah.
let me show you. Look,
Let's see it. Oh
this
my
is it.
gosh. I
And the
love
little door
it.
opens. Look at that little door opens, and then it has. I don't know if you can
Wow.
see it. It has, my
That's
name.
awesome.
My name. I can't do it. I don't know if you can see it.
That's
Anyway,
awesome.
so let me put this down. So, uh, 2 years later, I found out through some people that were talking on Twitter that not only did I win the award, but I was the first African American to win the award in a novel, category.
Wow.
So
Congratulations.
thank you
It's
very much.
amazing.
Yeah, so
Oh
it's
man.
just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Thank you.
That's awesome. So what is next for you? I feel like, like the sky's the limit for you. You dabble in so many things. You have so many things, books and awards, and you've done acting and everything. So what's next for you? What's coming up?
Well, I'm glad you said that because when I first started back when I was 19 years old in 1986, I wanted to do everything. I went to school for filmmaking and screenwriting and directing. And while I was doing that, I was recording music in the studio and everything. I had a deal with a studio. They loved me. They thought I was great. So I used to go in there. It's called a spec deal and record for free. And none of that panned out because I never really Well, with the writing, the screenwriting, I never wrote a script. Like I don't think I even finished the script. Maybe I finished one in college. I think I finished maybe one or two in college for an assignment, but I never really wrote a professional script. And then with the music, I never really studied professional, went to classes, anything. So I never took any of those, serious. It was when I quit teaching that I started learning how to write, taking up tons of classes. I had mentors, I went to workshops. I really took it so serious. And that's when I started developing a talent, when I knew that writing was what I was supposed to do. Once I did that and got really rooted in that, I kind of went back and did some other stuff. So I don't really call myself an actor, but I do have some projects coming up where I have 3 different Hollywood entities that have done a shopping deal, which is kind of a little different from a regular book to option where they pay you money and they option your book. It's they ask to shop it. They don't pay any money, but they ask to shop it. And then if they get a deal with a movie studio, then all the good stuff happens. So I have 3 Hollywood entities that's shopping the 2 books that came out under Nzondi. My Lipstick Asylum that came out last September, and then Oware Mosaic that won. And then I also have my father was part of a group called A-Jazz, which was a group of musicians and artists and creatives that also were pioneers of the Black is Beautiful movement. So they started the Black is Beautiful movement. And so there's a documentary out right now with my father in it and his friends who are the founders that's already won 7 film festivals. So one of the producers who is out shopping 2 of my books said, I'd love to do a biopic on your father. So we're seeing what can happen with that. So working on those things. So we're seeing what's happening with that. And I'm still finishing up my new book called Blood Teens. It's a vampire novel. So just my hands full of a lot of stuff working.
Nice. I love it. That's so exciting that they're chopping them around and they want to do that whole thing on your dad and your writing. Yeah. I love that story about how, the moment that you decided to take writing seriously, because I think that that's so relatable. I feel like a lot of people kind of are like, oh, I'm going to dabble in it. And it's like, when you quit everything and this is what you're going to do and you start taking it seriously, things really shift and turn. Yeah. And so I love that story. That is just amazing. You're doing such amazing things. I'm so glad that Greg couldn't be on and I got to talk with you today. I mean, I love it. Greg is like my brother, so it's one of those things. But it was so great to talk with you.
Thank you.
To hear about your books and to have you on. So thank
you.
Amy,
did you hear my new song, my new rock song?
No, mention it. I need to listen to it.
Right? Amy.
I know.
Amy.
I know. I'm feeling.
It just sort of happened. There's a song that's based on a character in my upcoming book. The name of the song is called Teenage Rockstar. It's out right now. Teenage Rockstar with 2 R's, ROCKSTARR. It's on all music platforms right now. And David Moreno, who plays with Puddle of Mud, he's a drummer for Puddle of Mud, plays drums on the track. He's incredible. And Fredro Starr from the group Onyx, slam through doo-doo. Fredro Starr is on the record as well. I'm singing it. I wrote it and produced it. It's a hot song. And basically what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create an Archie's type, Beatles type fictional group that's based on the characters in my novel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Yes, that's brilliant. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna have to play that song because I'm intrigued. Puddle of Mud. I grew up listening to them. They are like my band. I know of Onyx, so it's like yes. Okay, I have to listen to it for sure. But thank you, man. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and talk with me. I'm so grateful that you did. I can't wait.
I'm grateful.
You guys, make sure that you watch the videos this weekend of Greg. He is at an anime convention down in Houston. But until next time, you guys, this has been a conversation with me, Amy, today. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.